Okay, I have no idea why this thing keeps cutting out on me, so we're just going to have to do however many videos it keeps cutting out on me on. So what we're going to do is we're going to trace the triangle, and then we're going to rotate it counterclockwise. So I'm going to ignore that little part right there, because I'm not going to go get another tracing paper right now. So I'm going to trace the shape. There's my coordinates, C, B, and A. And I'm going to put a cross over at the origin, because I know a 90-degree rotation is one turn of the plus sign down at the origin. So I'm going to go counterclockwise, which means I'm going to go to the left. Okay, so holding this here, I'm going to do one rotation. All right, and it should end up somewhere over here. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little bit more. Hopefully you can see. Now, the point, this was point A. Or now it's going to become point A prime. This is C prime, and this is going to end up being B prime. So look at where it is, okay, and then look at the points that are labeled up here. It's pretty obvious. It's going to be negative, what is this, negative 2 and 3. So negative 2 and 3 are pretty much your only two choices. Negative 2 and 3, and then look at where C prime is, okay, respectively. And I'm going to put a marking on here for C prime. Where's it at? Right over here somewhere? C prime. So it's at 6 and negative 7. So negative 7 and 6. And the only clarification you need to make sure, no, I'm sorry, C prime is at negative 7 and 6. So the only clarification is you need to make sure that B prime ends up at negative 9 and 4 before you select A. If it's not a negative 9 and 4, it would have to probably end up being none of these, but I don't think it's E. I just don't see it happening. Or maybe it is. You never know. It's like at negative 9 something. Negative 9 and 4. Yeah, probably. I think it's probably A. Okay, 103. I'm not going to go through all of these. So what's more important in 103 is that you understand that if you have any issues with these, you need to go to the back of your book. Okay, there's a section which is somewhere near the glossary or in the index or somewhere back there called checkpoint materials, and you need to look at checkpoint number 1. Now, in all of these, the only one I will actually do is B, because B is actually talking about exponential equations. And again, some of you haven't gotten to that. You never got to that part. But A, C, and D, oh shoot, that's a depreciation too, B and C. Okay, well, A and D you should be able to handle on your own. Okay, so check your answers by referring to checkpoint 1 materials located at the back of your book. So I'm going to do B and C. I'm going to set you up for B and C in a second here. All right, so part B will look like this. So the price of gourmet coffee beans at the corner market has increased to 10% per year over the past several years. At the current cost is $14 per pound. What did the pound of gourmet coffee bean cost 2 years ago? Okay, so it's been increasing by 10% per year. So that means we have to add 10% to 100% because we're increasing, not decreasing. So the first thing we need to do is figure out, well, actually, the first thing that I'm going to do is make a table really quickly. Let's see, we're going to make year, right, and cost. So the question is, so 2 years ago, the current cost, what did the pound of gourmet coffee cost 2 years ago? So let's say right now it costs $14, right? Year 0, because it's right now. That's usually your year 0. 2 years ago would be -2. And it's been, since it's increasing by 10%, that means we're going to add 100% plus 10% to get what we need to multiply by. So this is going to be 110%, which 110% changes into 1.1. Right? Because you moved the decimal places, you moved the decimal 2 places to get it back to a decimal. It's just going to change to 1.1. So that means when we were up here at -2, whatever this was, we should have multiplied by 1.1. We should have multiplied by 1.1 to get to 14. So the question is, so now since you multiplied by 1.1 twice to get to 14, you have to go backwards and divide by 1.1, get an answer, and then divide by 1.1 and get another answer. So it's going to end up being a number bigger than or smaller than 14? That's the question. Okay. So you have to decide, because remember, it's actually increasing by 10%. So if something is increasing, it should have come from something smaller. So you should get something that's smaller than 14 up here. Now, whatever you get, I'm going to put like a question mark here. Okay, so remember, you have to divide once and then divide again. Whatever you get for the question mark, right, that's going to be how much it cost 2 years ago. And your final answer, or your equation, because I think it just does say write and solve an equation or equations for these. So your equation should look like, sorry, you can't see, y equals your initial value, or your start value, what you multiplied by 1.1 to the x power, because these are exponential functions. Okay, and then part C is a new car. You bought it for $29,000. What does it say? To use while he was away in college, the car depreciates, so decreases in value by 11% annually. If he wants to sell when he graduates in 4 years, what will the value of the car be? Oh, okay. All right, cool. So we're going to make a table again for year and cost. Okay. So right now the car costs $29,000. Wow, that's kind of an expensive car to buy a graduate student, but I mean a college student, but whatever. And in 4 years, he wants to sell the car. Okay, and it's decreasing in value by 11%. So we're decreasing by 11%, which means we're going to subtract it from 100 because we're decreasing price. So 100 minus 11 is going to give us 89%, or better known as 0.89. Okay, so that means every time we multiply, we're going to multiply by 0.89. So you're going to take 29,000 on your calculator, and you're going to multiply it by 0.89. You're going to multiply by 0.89 again. You're going to take that number, multiply by 0.89, take that number, multiply by 0.89, and you get the idea. So in 4 years, he should have significantly less than $29,000 is what the actual cost of the car was going to be. All right. And your equation, y equals how much the car originally cost, $29,000, times, your multiplier goes in here because that's what you multiplied each time by, to the x power. Okay. So that was B and C. You're on your own for A and D. Look in the back of your book to check your answers for those two. Make sure you get them correctly. Those are linear functions. You should have no issues with those two. Okay, and I will see you later.